Markets broadly today are doing a whole lot of nothing after getting rocked by worse than expected JOLTS job openings. Tesla, on the other hand, is up over 4% at the time of recording this video. So what's going on? Well, first and foremost, I think it's important to acknowledge yesterday, because yesterday was a bad day for markets. Let's be honest. September is usually a bad month. The first day of September for trading, which was yesterday, was a bad day. But Tesla was green most of the day. It did go red towards the end of the day, but Tesla did better than most other stocks, and really did better than most other stocks the entire day. So it does look like Tesla is just extending some of the relative outperformance you have seen today again. Part of that, I do believe, is because we have the Robotaxi event coming up here in just the next couple of weeks on October 10th. And there is a lot of potential upside that can come from the Robotaxi being successful. Now, I believe, from what I've seen, we kind of understand news and get news faster than big money. What I mean by that is many times in the past, we've gotten news of like FSD entering China or looking to enter the Chinese market. And we know this news like for days, and then Wall Street just wakes up to it one day and they're like, wow, that's good news. I think that's kind of a similar situation to what's happening today in Tesla stock. Some of the Robotaxi news that we've talked about the last couple of days is actually being reflected in Tesla stock today. Like this news. It says here, according to communications sent to regulators, Tesla is hinting at making its self-driving vehicles with seats that can rotate to face backwards. So it could look something like this. We have also seen, especially yesterday with Nvidia's 9% fall in regular trading, that can open up the opportunity for money to move into other areas of our markets. And even today, Apple is down 1.5%. Amazon is down almost 1%. Microsoft slightly in the red. Google slightly in the red. Nvidia's slightly in the green, and Meta's up 0.5%. You're actually seeing some capital being redistributed into other areas of our markets. And it looks like Tesla is seeing a lot of that money rotating into it. I mean, let's acknowledge the facts on the ground according to the markets and where we are right now. According to the markets, the Fed's about to cut rates into a seemingly okay economy. That is good for Tesla. That is not good for other big tech stocks. Tesla stock is still down almost 50% from all-time highs. If you want to bet on upside, Tesla makes a lot of sense here, heading into a big catalyst October 10th. And that's why I've clearly stated that there's a good chance September is actually a very strong month for Tesla. It's too early to know that because I think we need the jobs report out the way this Friday, but if that goes good, then I'm going to expect a strong September for Tesla. On the other hand, the data that we got today was actually not good at all, at least for the JOLTS job openings. As I explained in prior videos, the JOLTS job openings is really, in my opinion, a measure of how businesses are doing. Not necessarily the labor market, but businesses. Because if you're looking to hire more employees, your business is doing well. If you're looking to not hire as many employees, your business is probably not doing as well. So JOLTS job openings were expected at about 8.09 million. We came in at 7.67 million. So that was a reduction of, give or take, 400 or so thousand job openings. In a 1 month period, that's not great. That's about 5% of all job openings that are no longer available. Ugh. It's not what you want to see if you're in the soft landing camp. Yeah, it's good for the Fed, I guess, to a certain degree. The inflationary pressures in the labor market, sure, okay, I get that argument. But job openings plummeting like this is not a good sign for the economy. As Nick Timmerhouse writes here on X, this is a labor market that isn't as tight as it was before the pandemic. Job openings declined further in July, and the ratio of job vacancies to unemployed workers dropped to 1.07, the lowest since 2018. So we really don't want to see any more weakening in the labor market, and that is something the Fed has kind of been saying now for the last month or two. We did get factory orders month over month that came in at 5%, better than the 3.8% estimate. Last month, you were negative 3.3%, so it's not as good as you would think if you include last month. Factory orders excluding transportation came in good as well, at positive 0.4%. We were expecting negative 0.2%. So that was, I guess, the good side of the data today, but definitely JOLTS job openings just doesn't look great for the bulls, doesn't look great for the soft landing narrative. We also did have the Bank of Canada that made their third straight 25 basis point rate cut today. They said, quote, if inflation continues to ease broadly in line with our July forecast, it is reasonable to expect further cuts in our policy rate. And following the data that we got today with JOLTS job openings, a 50 basis point rate cut in September is now priced as more likely than a 25 basis point cut, short-term U.S. interest rate futures suggest. Now, this is not good, because if the Fed cuts 50 basis points and the markets start to price that in, now the Fed is trying to cut to, get right on Fed policy because they potentially made an error, and that's going to spark some panic in markets. But it's really going to come down to this Friday's jobs report. If that comes in bad, if the unemployment rate does spike further and we see a low payroll number, that's probably going to solidify a 50 basis point cut, and that's probably going to solidify a lot of market panic. And that's not going to be good for Tesla stock. And I think that's why this Friday is potentially the most important single data point of at least the next month or two. Now, if we actually take a look at the technicals for Tesla, we have broken above this downtrending line of resistance yet again today. As long as we get a close around about 216, you're going to hold this trend line. Now, that turns very bullish, okay? That turns Tesla stock into a different machine if you are back above this trend line, okay? This is the most important trend line for Tesla. This is dating all the way back to Tesla's all-time highs and connecting every high since then. It's a pretty clear trend line. Tesla tends to follow the technicals very well. So this is a great sign that Tesla stock can actually rally big in September. If this Friday's jobs report comes in good, I think this all but solidifies Tesla's rally, likely to about $300 per share before the October 10th robotaxi event. Now, we did find some resistance today at this 50-day moving average that is at $222 per share, but I reckon it's probably going to be pretty easy to get above that if this Friday goes well. Probably going to blow past that coming Friday. And part of the reason for Tesla's outperformance today could also be the fact that Tesla launched Ask, the actually smart summon feature, to normal Tesla owners after years of waiting. And Wall Street may have been a little bit late to recognize this, even though this news really came out yesterday. We could be reacting more to it today. And it looks like the Tesla Cybertruck is heading to South Korea to go on tour, with the tour that begins on September 6th. Volvo has unveiled their next generation all-electric long-range semi-truck with a range of 373 miles. That's actually twice the previous version's mileage. You can also see that deliveries start in the second half of 2025, apparently, but there's no word on price just yet. A popular thin crust pizzeria in northern New Jersey has outfitted a pair of Tesla Cybertrucks with 2-tier ovens to fire up pies on the go. The Tesla Cybertruck is now eligible for $10,000 business rebates in British Columbia. Federal $10,000 rebate also coming soon. Tesla has released the Cybertruck Winter Tire Package in North America for $3,000. The Cybertruck's Cyber Wheel and Winter Tire Package provides improved traction stability and braking efficiency. This package is 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake 3 PMSF rated. It includes the wheels, the tires, and 4 tire pressure sensors and the nuts that connect them to the car, or truck in this case. Tesla has released a new Vessel for $45 in 3 paint colors to match your car: deep blue metallic, ultra red, and stealth gray. Cybertruck core covers are now available for purchase in the Tesla shop, going for $75. Installation of the first 444 Tesla Megapack batteries is underway at the first stage of the 600 megawatt renewable energy hub in Victoria, one of the biggest grid-scale batteries in Australia. This Tesla Megapack system cost over $421 million. Elon Musk seemingly casually just gave us a little bit of a glimpse of what's going on at the Tesla engineering offices in Palo Alto. He says, mostly good, some bad. The future is going to be wild. There will be so many robots. And it looks like the Cybertruck Auto Park is releasing this weekend as well. Ashok Alashwami says, we are glad that you finally learned how to park yourself. Looking forward to you showing this off this weekend. Volvo has announced it is scrapping its target of going all electric by 2030, saying it now expects to still be offering some hybrid models in its lineup at that time. They say, quote, this balance between fully electric and plug-in hybrids is the right portfolio for the market of today, as the premium fully electric market is still developing in several key markets. Tesla Sweden introduced lower interest rates for the Model Y and Model 3 vehicles, making the electric vehicles more affordable. Tesla rolled out 0% interest for the Model Y. German government agrees proposals for tax relief on EVs. Under the draft approved by Chancellor Olaf Scholz cabinet on Wednesday, companies would be able to deduct up to 40% of the value of newly purchased electric and qualifying zero-emission vehicles from their tax bill in the year of their purchase, falling progressively to 6%. Also, part of what we are likely seeing today for Tesla is some shorts covering. We've seen this in recent days, but heading into this event on October 10th, if the Fed does cut rates into a decent economy, if the prevailing narrative continues to be a soft landing, Tesla stock is going to benefit more than most other stocks. And for Tesla stock being a $600+ billion market cap company, to have the kind of short interest Tesla has just doesn't make a lot of sense heading into this environment. Of course, that is if you agree with the consensus view of a soft landing. Now, short interest of free float sitting at 2.95%. You currently have $17.25 billion sold short in Tesla stock, totaling almost 82 million shares that are currently sold short. We are also seeing some pretty bullish trades coming through from hedge funds and institutions today. We have this October 17th 250 call worth $156,000. You have a February 20th, 2025 $300 call worth $175,000. These are all short-term trades. You have an October 17th 250 call worth $107,000, and many other trades that are like this, just very short-term in nature, that are out of the money, that are pretty speculative. And that's another good sign that Tesla stock's probably going to go higher from here. But again, I think the last couple of days really highlighted, Tesla can do okay. It can outperform the markets even on really bad days, specifically like you seen yesterday. But it really comes down to this Friday's jobs report. If that signals more recessionary dynamics, I don't think Tesla's going to outperform, even though you have the robotaxi event coming on October 10th. 10-year Treasury yields are continuing to fall today. 10-year Treasury yields currently at 3.78%, down 6 basis points. You can also see the 2- and 10-year yield curve inversion did go positive today. Now it's negative a little bit again, but you're right there, borderline positive on the yield curve inversion. Historically, this is kind of when things start to go bad in the economy. This is usually when we're pretty close to a recession, but that's just because usually when the Fed starts to cut rates is when the yield curve uninverts, and usually when the Fed starts to cut rates, that's when you're close to a recession. So that's the kind of historical precedence here. I don't think you have to sell off or have to be going into a recession with the uninversion of the yield curve, but historically that is what has happened in the past. And I think it's just something to be vigilant of and, keep your eyes out for. We do have more earnings coming today in after hours with C3 AI, Hewlett Packard, ChargePoint, Casey's, Sprinkler, and a couple of others. Tomorrow morning, we have Neo, Fuel Cell Energy, Toro, and a couple random companies there. But in after hours tomorrow, you have Broadcom, UiPath, Samsara, DocuSign, Planet, Braze, Zoomies, and a couple of others. And then Friday pre-market, you have Big Lots. The percent of stocks currently trading above the 50-day moving average is really not doing much of anything today at 54.81%. You did see a big decline of over 10% yesterday, going from about 66% of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average down to 55%. So you did see a bit of a decline there yesterday, and that was a big move lower. So today, you're just really getting digestion of a lot of these moves we've seen. And the data, again, was not great this morning, but markets really care about the non-farms, the unemployment rate. So we can have recessionary data here and there, and we've gotten that over and over again. But Wall Street seems to react mainly to just the non-farms and the unemployment rate. Sentiment over on StockTwits today surprisingly is dropping a lot from the retail investors' perspective. Yesterday, sentiment was bullish at 72. Today, it's bearish at 30. Message volume was normal yesterday at 49. Today, it's high at 57, and the participation ratio is high at 56. Tesla's global inventory levels are starting to fall quite a bit now. The Model Y at about 5,800 vehicles in total global inventories, Model 3 at 5,600, Model X at 3,800, and the Model S at 2,700. This is actually great news because you don't want to see inventories start to build up. That's one of the reasons why Wall Street was so fearful over the past year in Tesla stock, was the rise in inventories that you started to see. And Tesla is continuing to run about 4,000 different ads with Google. CNN's Fear and Greed Index is no longer in greed territory, barely. You're sitting at 55. If you go up 1 point, you're going to be back in greed territory. But yesterday you were at 65, which was pretty firmly in greed. And that drop we seen yesterday definitely reset things down lower, at least somewhat, about 10 points, which is a pretty big one-day fall in the Fear and Greed Index. So again, we'll talk Tesla more in the next video. I really want to see where things settle out, where Tesla closes, if we go higher in after hours trading or not. We do have some data coming out tomorrow morning that will also be important. We'll talk about it a little bit more again in the next video, but you have ADP employment change expecting 115,000 job ads. You have initial jobless claims expecting those to have fallen down to 227,000 from 231,000 last week, and ISM services PMIs that are expected to weaken a little bit basically across the board. Not anything large, but just slight weakening across new orders, prices, employment, business activity, and the headline ISM services PMIs. And that's pretty much it for your data tomorrow, and that's going to set us up into Friday's non-farm payrolls report. Let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. I did make a trade on Tesla stock today if you guys want to check that out. Check it out, link down below in the description of this video to come join the trading community. Nonetheless, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.